This is the 2024 BMW X3 sDrive30i. Is it the best compact luxury crossover SUV? Well, in today's video that I'm shooting at BMW, I'm going to give you the information to answer that question. And I'll tell you something about this particular model. The price that I'll give you later in the video is very respectable for this day and age. So what are you going to find if this is something you're wanting to consider? Well, number one, it is highly configurable. The available engine options offer plentiful power. It's a lot of fun to drive with great handling and highly configurable. Depending on what kind of additions you may want, options, this model has quite a bit. Let's take a look at exactly what you're going to find. Overall, the body lines here, very sleek, giving the X3 a very sporty look, and rightfully so because the handling characteristics match the overall look of the body and the body lines. Here on the front end, we're going to find full LED lighting with the headlights, with the daytime running lights, and yes, it even has the turn signal option. That's right, believe it or not, that's actually a standard feature on all BMWs. Yep. That's right, contrary to what some drivers might make it seem like. But it's not just BMWs out there that don't use their blinkers, I promise. The double kidney grille here, the classic look of a BMW here on the front end. And right here in the center of the double kidney grille, you're going to find the forward-facing camera. And as far as functionality goes here, we have the active air curtains. That's going to be this area. You can see the daylight through right there. That's allowing air to flow through the front end. So you're going to reduce drag, increase aerodynamics. That means improved gas mileage. Turn signal indicators are built into these heated, power adjustable and power folding side view mirrors. And as you can see right there, you're going to also have blind spot monitoring. And while we're on the subject, let's take a look at the remote. No changes, not only here with the remote, but overall for 2024 with this X3, if you were curious, but maybe you haven't looked at one for a while and you're curious to see what may be different from that time to this time. I mean, it's been a few years. Roof rails up top, and we'll take a quick look inside here. Let's unlock everything. There we go. And you'll find a panoramic sunroof. That portion in the front does slide and tilt open. Got the roof rails, the shark fin antenna, and we finish things off here on the rear with the rear roof spoiler. There is your rear window wiper. That will come in handy. And obviously, the nice look here on the rear, the X3 logo, your LED tail lights. And there is the sDrive30i logo, as well as the exhaust here. You don't have just faux finishers that aren't connected to anything, so if you were curious about that, well, there's the answer. Some people want to know. Speaking of exhaust, what exactly is that exhausting? Let's talk about what's under the hood. And I told you that these side view mirrors are power folding, so what I'm going to do, see the button right here? I'm going to push that, and there you go. You can see that the side view mirrors do indeed fold in. And we'll raise the hood here. I like the fact that you pull on the hood latch twice within the interior, and there's nothing you have to go hunting for to release the hood itself. That is helpful. And what does that reveal? The 2-liter twin-power turbo inline 4-cylinder. 248 horsepower and 258 pounds-feet of torque. Power ultimately makes its way through an 8-speed automatic transmission. And how about those all-important MPGs? I know you like to know about that. Here's what we have. 23 city, 29 highway, 25 combined, and 4 gallons of gas for every 100 miles driven. And something that I like to share here, because I know people like to know, but I don't know that there's that many automotive journalists or automotive channels, whatever you want to call it, out there who are sharing this. But if you're saying, how big is the gas tank? 17.2 gallons. And the good thing about that, for those of you who are not fans of capless fuel fill, and I know some of you aren't, well, you can see that's not here. The X3 can tow a rather impressive 4,400 pounds when properly equipped. And I'm going to wave my foot under here, even though you don't have to do it that way. You can also use a kicking motion. But here is your hands-free lift gate. That's very useful in a multitude of ways. And we're looking at 28.7 up to 62.7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. You will find the cargo cover right here that is removable, by the way. That makes things a lot more convenient depending on what you need to do. And in case you're curious about maximizing cargo space, well, here's a good reason to be able to remove that removable cargo cover that I just showed you. Seats are laid flat here. In fact, you might say, well, how flat do they actually lay? Well, hopefully you can see the angle right here. Not perfectly flat. There's a slight bit of a rise right here, but not enough to hurt anything. And that's not all you can do with the rear seat backs right here. You can also use that middle seat area as a pass-through. So if there's nobody sitting there and you need it, well, there's another option. And we'll work our way into the interior, starting with the rear seating or back seat area first. Let's talk about comfort. Now, the armrest seems to be comfortable to me with the armrest test. And you have really kind of a multi-use door bin right here. You have the nice large bottle holder or cup holder right there, as well as the regular door bin behind. A lot of different things can be stored there. Comfortable seating in here as well. And if you're wondering how I lowered that seat, here is the release right here as far as this middle seat that creates the pass-through. And let's see if I can get that down. There we go. So here is your fold-down armrest, and cup holders are built in that area as well. And a lot of storage here throughout the interior in a few different areas. We'll also have the rear seat storage right here, more of a map pocket or a net than a map pocket, I guess I would say, kind of a net style material. But it definitely gets the job done. And dual air conditioning vents here in the rear on the center console. You can also see that you can adjust everything here. Pretty easy to deal with. On the bottom down there, things are finished out with a couple of USB ports. And if you're curious to know, this is how things look from this vantage point with the panoramic sunroof. Let's face it, one thing that would make a vehicle the ultimate compact luxury crossover SUV is the price. So what exactly is it on this model? $56,245. So let's take a look at what you'll find here in the front seating area. Again, the armrest seems to be comfortable just putting my arm up there. Plenty of room with the door bin right there, and that bottle holder large, very large up there. So you can put your big gulp in there, whatever you might want. Something very big will fit there. Power seats for the driver and the passenger. You'll also find the extension here on the front. That's manually operated with the release right here, but everything else is power. They are also heated, and we'll hop inside and take a look at what we have with the rather roomy glove box. I don't know that anybody puts gloves in their glove boxes, but there you go. And you can see the X3 logo right there. You can also see that you can cover and hide things away. What exactly is here? Well, you have your wireless charging pad. There is a USB option right there, your cup holders. And for those of you who say to me, Tom, I'm like Monk. I don't want fingerprints on my touchscreen. How can I deal with that? Well, the easiest way is to use all of your controls right here. That will control your touchscreen without actually having to touch it. Some might mind and some might not. I don't know. We'll find a little bit of gloss black here, the piano black trim. I don't think that's in an area where there's going to be a lot of issues with fingerprints, but that's what you have. And a conventional style shifter. That seems to be more popular than your conventional, or should I say, I don't know if it's so conventional these days, but it's getting that way, push button shifters. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. And several buttons right here. I think you know what everything is, including the button right there, the round one right here that starts and stops the engine. And then quite a bit of space within the center console. Another connectivity option right there with USB, plenty of room, and the center console seems to be at a decent height. Depending on your height and where you set your seat, that can be perfect for an armrest. And if you want to control everything with the sunroof, which by the way does have a shade, a power shade that you can draw forward or open up, everything is controlled here on the upper console. Here on the driver's side door panel, we really looked at this earlier. We were focused on showing you how to control the power adjustable and power folding side view mirrors. But you can see what else is here. You also have two settings for seat memory. And over here, we're going to find the control for your exterior lighting, headlights and taillights. You can turn that on to automatic if you want to. And I don't know how well my camera is picking it up, but you do have a very nice and bright, easy to see head-up display. That's very useful in a multitude of ways. You'll also have just as easy to use, but easier to know that you can see it on the screen right now, a little bit of a glare, but it's what it is. It's what we have to deal with today. The instrument cluster, again, nice digital, modern looking, a very nice look. You'll also find, like I said earlier, the standard feature on these X3s, the turn signal option. It is there, whether people use it or not, it's actually there. And controls right here with the lever for your front and rear window wipers. And I really like the size of the shifter paddles. If you decide to use those shifter paddles to work your way back and forth through the 8-speed automatic transmission, they're very easy to use because they're so large. And your steering wheel mounted controls. And one of the most popular questions I receive in my videos is, does a vehicle I'm showing have built-in navigation? Well, you know that it does right there. And we'll go to vehicle right here. A lot of information to go through. I'm not going to cover every single thing, but you can see what all is here and how easy it is to get to it and see whatever it is you need to see or want to see. It's just so much, but it's so simple that at the same time, you can really use the hunt and peck method. And the good thing is that you have actual video right here to help you out to learn your vehicle. So that's nice to know. And let me show you something here. We'll go into reverse and bring up the camera views. You can see your overhead 360-degree view right there. That is very helpful. So depending on what you want to see and where you want to see, well, here are some of the ways that you do that, but that's not all there is. So we're going to go over here to our 3D view, or actually we went to car wash view right there, I think. Let's see here. Am I on car wash view? I think I am. But you can see that. You can see what's going on. We're going to go back to that. Let's see here. We'll get that to come back up one more time. Kind of an interesting thing. I'm learning my way around this vehicle, I guess. Let's go back here, because there is one thing I did want to show you on the 3D view. So a lot of the time we're used to doing this, but you'll notice that nothing is happening. So what you're going to do is come over here on the right side of the screen. So depending on where you want to see, you will just touch that point on the screen, and that lets you see that area of the vehicle from that particular view. And what about car wash? What exactly is that? Well, if you don't have somebody to guide you into the car wash, if you're going through a car wash, well, there's how you're going to do that. It makes it very simple to see that overhead view. I know for some people this may seem a little bit intimidating, maybe a little daunting, and saying, you know, I'm ready for a new vehicle. I really like the X3s, but boy, that looks complicated. I'm here to tell you that it's not. Very simple to learn. The hunt and peck method works very well. And how about our safety features? What do you have here? Well, you can see forward collision mitigation, lane departure warning, steering intervention, and the vehicle also will park itself. Very easy to deal with, that's for sure. It may sound like a lot, but I promise, no big deal at all. And earlier I told you about that power shade that you can use to cover up or hide away the panoramic sunroof. Well, there that is. And all you're going to do, you have the button right here to open and close. If I want to open that back up or close it, I just push on it in the appropriate direction. Okay, let's get out on the road for our test drive, and a couple of things that I want to make sure I cover that I forgot to tell you about earlier in the video. There's just so much going on here. It's hard to cover everything, but I try to hit the high points. But let's talk about a couple of things that I do think fit into that area. Number one, you have a heated steering wheel. The button to turn that on is right down here on the steering wheel itself, just below the horn button. And you have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Now, it's not power adjustable. I don't know, not sure if it should be at this price point or not. Tell me what your thoughts are where that is concerned. And last but not least, driving modes. So let's see if I can do this by feel. So we're going to start with comfort mode, and then I'm going to go into eco, and you can see down there on the bottom of the screen that you have a few different options you can choose from. The same thing with sport, And boy, that really woke it up pretty good right there. I can tell the difference. That's a good thing. That's one thing about this X3. Even with this 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder under the hood, you might say, is 248 horsepower enough? Well, I think it is. It seems to be a good horsepower to weight ratio situation, but the handling characteristics really make a difference. Kind of makes it feel almost as if you have more power than you really do. The good thing about this particular vehicle is that not only does it handle well, it has a comfortable ride quality, but if you want to go out and have a nice spirited drive somewhere out in the country, outside of the city limits, that kind of thing, well, the good thing about that is that it can handle that. Great handling. You can blow off some steam just enjoying the driving capabilities and experience of this X3. So you're really in a pretty good place, and well, I'm really in the wrong place to step on it, but I can tell you that it might surprise you if you do. You might think, 248 horsepower, I'm not sure about that. I don't think it's really enough. Some people are going to say that, but you know what? It seems to do pretty well as far as I'm concerned. So overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. A roomy interior. You have a reasonable amount of cargo space back there that's going to help out on those road trips, and depending on what your situation is, well, you might not have any passengers back there. That means you can have even more cargo back there as far as luggage for trips or whatever the case is, because you can lay those seats flat. And a vehicle that's easy to see out of. Blind spot, well, not really an issue because you have your blind spot monitoring built into both of your side view mirrors. So quite a bit going on here. In my opinion, I think you get quite a bit for the price, but I'm curious to know what you think. Okay, tell me what you think. Is the 2024 BMW X3 the best compact luxury crossover SUV? And while we covered a lot here, there's also a lot we didn't cover. Far more here that you get for the sticker price that I mentioned earlier in the video. But if I covered it all, well, this video would probably be longer than anybody would be willing to watch. If you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video to the BMW website. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at the dealership for loaning me this X3 for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already so you can watch future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.